On Colorado, there's been a lot of commentary in the past 24 hours about this image summing up the modern Democrat Party. Let's have a look at it. Kosha, what do you say to this? There's a lot happening in that picture.
Oh my goodness, I could say modern Democrat Party in an AI simulator, and I don't think it would come out very different from that. You've got the flag in the background, it's like perfectly framed in the middle. You have this violent person, and it's the heinous acts he committed. He's shirtless, he's not in particularly good shape, he's an illegal immigrant, throwing a Molotov cocktail, and I think it does sum it up, everything we just talked about, the cultural virtue signaling, the way the media is covering it, and then the violence from the left that's been getting away, but not for long. We'll see what's going to happen. Some judge is likely going to block his deportation, but cases like this only help the cause politically on the other side because these are not sympathetic figures.
And Trump's made that point. The Mohamed Soliman, the alleged attacker there, is an Egyptian national in the US illegally. He's overstayed his visa, entered the US during the Biden administration, sought asylum in 2022, was granted the right to work. Is the Biden administration in any way to blame for this? So they let millions through, unvetted, and you're going to get characters like this amongst them.
100%. I think this really personifies what we know. So we know the numbers and the ridiculous 11 million plus that we're allowed to pour in through 4 years. And then the particulars of this case where he was caught even by the ICE agents in the Biden administration, but was let go because that was the policy, catch and release. And then he was rewarded with legal work access, even though he overstayed his visa. So you're just creating magnets and rewarding. So every issue that we talk about all gets personified in this case. And then he goes and does what he did. So it really just puts a huge red line, I think, under this issue in a way that had never happened before. And hopefully the current administration can take advantage of that momentum and do something about it.
Now, before you go, we talked about that cultural shift across the US. Let's have a look at another example of that. This is something we wouldn't have seen a few years ago, certainly wouldn't have seen it in Trump's first term. Watch here as football legends and current Pittsburgh Steelers stars pay tribute to Donald Trump in Pennsylvania.
I'd like to present this to a Hall of Fame president. Please accept it.
How about this president of ours, huh? Just wanted to say God bless you, President Trump, and God bless you, Pittsburgh.
Now, that was Pittsburgh Steelers legend and Vietnam War vet Rocky Blair and current quarterback Mason Rudolph and defensive back Miles Killebrew. I mean, that is something we wouldn't have seen, Kosha, just a few years ago. Those players, current players, would have been cancelled. There would have been all sorts of uproar. No one really was bothered by any of that. I didn't see too much backlash at all.
So true. You know, there's that old adage, I think, attributed to Andrew Breitbart, that politics is downstream from culture. Every once in a while, in a case like Donald Trump, who's very unique, it almost feels like culture is downstream from politics. And just his whole story, even before politics and since then, the comeback, being the underdog, being counted out and coming, is like classic American stuff. Everybody loves that story, even though they've been trained not to admit it. And this carries a lot of weight when you have NFL stars and Hall of Fame legends doing that. The other piece, too, is since it's the Steelers, Pittsburgh, that is a key constituency of Trump. Pennsylvania, and particularly that town, the Steelers and Miners, didn't go to Republicans since Ronald Reagan, 40 years. And he, in both terms, turned that around. And I think that's sort of the other piece of it. And the Steelers, of course, exemplify that part of his constituency.
Kosha Gator, thanks for your time tonight.